No, President Trump and the big, beautiful bill are working to protect hardworking Americans. The reality is out here in Arizona, we have a Democrat attorney general who's promoting waste, fraud, and abuse. We have access fraud in Arizona, but our AG here, Kris Mayes, we call her MSNBC Kris Mayes, is too busy suing President Trump and with over 21 lawsuits instead of focusing on investigating Medicaid fraud, investigating access. And that's why we're working so hard to replace her. The great thing about Bernie Sanders is he's just a leftist, crazy old man who votes the wrong way. What you have in Arizona is we have a liberal Democrat attorney general with her own power to investigate, her own power to indict, and that's exactly what she's doing. She's using Arizona tax dollars, waste, fraud, and abuse to sue the Trump administration, and that's why she's got to go, and that's why we need more conservatives supporting her.
Well, a lot of liberals certainly like to sue President Trump and his administration, to your point. They also like to threaten violence. These comments from Senator Sanders come as a man in Ohio, Dayton specifically, is now behind bars for threatening to kill an unnamed Republican congressman. The indictment doesn't say who yet. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office out there in Ohio, 60-year-old Jeffrey Dorsey left a voicemail saying, quote, "If you vote to take my bleeping Medicaid away, I'm going to cut your bleeping head off. But I tell you this clearly to your brain, if you bleep with my Medicaid, you're a dead bleep, bleep, bleep." You get the idea, saying this to a congressman. Is this a reminder to you about how dangerous this rhetoric is getting and the threats and maybe in some cases actual violence that we see at these riots against ICE agents or in this case against a Republican congressman?
No, the danger is unreal. And the reality is in Arizona, where we are, we're under-policed. Men and women aren't interested in becoming police officers, working in law enforcement. Our liberal attorney general here is trying to get rid of qualified immunity, which is the law that protects police officers when they do their job correctly. The rhetoric is getting hotter, and we have liberals in our state, including our attorney general, Kris Mayes, that refuses to enforce the law. She has no background as a prosecutor. She got elected by a few hundred votes. And that's exactly not what we need in leadership positions when it comes to supporting President Trump's agenda and when it comes to keeping our law enforcement safe. I'm proud that in our race for Attorney General, Ed, the chairman of our campaign is our Maricopa County Sheriff because of the fact that he knows the only person that can protect law enforcement is the Attorney General. And instead, we have an Attorney General that's suing the private sector, that's suing President Trump, that thinks that boys should compete against little girls. It's insanity here. And that's why we're trying to move the needle on this.
It seems to run counter to the common sense agenda the president's talking about in Washington and all around the nation. Last 30 seconds we have. You keep mentioning Kris Mayes, the Democrat attorney general. I understand she also wants to unmask ICE agents. We've seen other Democrats pushing for this. Again, getting back to the potential violence, a lot of these ICE agents getting threats. Talk about that, because the border crisis in your state has been real for many years, although now it's dissipated because the president secured that southern border.
We have a liberal, Kris Mayes, who's attacking law enforcement every step of the way. In fact, just 2 weeks ago, she said that real lawmen don't wear masks, and she called our police officers and our ICE agents in Arizona, she said how they're acting is bullshit. She's insane. The reality is insanity, and we need to have someone that has law enforcement's back every time, because while President Trump's agenda has slowed and almost dwindled the illegals coming across the border, the reality is they're still in Arizona. They're still taking advantage. They're still using our resources, and that's what we need to stop. And by working with the administration, we'll be able to do that.
Interesting point. So the border's been secured, but there's still millions, as we know, that came in under Biden-Harris, and they're in states like Arizona. Rodney Glassman, good luck to you in your race. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And we